Forget everything you think you know about celebrity scandals. Tonight, one of China's most beloved stars, Yu Menglong, was brutally murdered in his own penthouse. The suspects? Not strangers. Not rivals. But two of his closest, most powerful colleagues, the king of blockbusters and the queen of tragedy. They were there. They lied. And tonight, for the first time, we're taking you inside the crime scene reenactment where the truth didn't just come out, it exploded. The police found the killer's hidden message in plain sight, a clue so mind-blowingly complex, it involves the laws of physics, light, and a secret chamber no one knew existed. You are about to witness the most brilliant, most horrifying celebrity crime solved in front of your eyes. If you click away now, you'll miss the single most shocking twist in modern true crime-inspired entertainment. Stick with us. The clock is ticking. In the heart of the city, suspended 40 floors above the glittering confusion of the world, actor Yu Menglong's penthouse was a fortress of glass and steel. It was here, amidst a collection of priceless modern art and an unnervingly sparse, minimalist aesthetic, that the curtain fell on his life. A life not just famous, but adored. He was the perpetual good guy, the clean-cut hero of countless romantic dramas. Which is why the crime scene defied belief. When the first detective stepped into the massive, open-plan living area, it wasn't the body that paralyzed them, it was the unsettling stillness. Menglong's body lay near the imported Italian marble fireplace, a single, deep wound to the chest. But the room itself was a tableau of meticulous control. Not a single cushion was askew. No furniture was overturned. The only sign of struggle was a small, perfectly circular scratch on the polished wooden floor, barely visible beneath a vintage gramophone. It was the crime of a phantom, executed with the precision of a master choreographer. The immediate suspects were as shocking as the crime itself. Luo Chen, the celebrated, brooding action star known for his intensity both on and off screen, and Jia Li, the ethereal actress famous for her emotionally devastating performances and a rumored romantic entanglement with the victim that the public never quite confirmed. Both actors had an established alibi. They were allegedly rehearsing a challenging two-person play across town. But police records quickly established a 6-minute window in which they could have sped across the city, committed the murder, and returned without raising suspicion, thanks to a carefully planned traffic light outage that Luo Chen's production company had conveniently reported earlier that evening. It was too perfect. The case stalled. The actors stuck to their stories, each giving flawlessly composed, tearful interviews to the press, projecting an image of grief-stricken innocence. The public was divided. Were they witnessing a tragedy of betrayal, or a masterful performance of pure evil? The decision was made to perform a full-scale crime scene reenactment. This wasn't a standard police procedure, it was a desperate, dramatic move by Chief Investigator Lin Wei, who felt the evidence was hidden in the performance of the crime itself. They had to recreate the event in real time, with the suspects themselves playing their parts, hoping to break their carefully constructed facade. On a cold Saturday night, the penthouse was transformed. Cameras were positioned, notepads were ready, and the two suspects, Luo Chen and Jia Li, were brought back into the scene of the tragedy. Luo Chen, stoic and muscular, played his own alibi arriving to find the body. Jia Li, fragile and pale, played her own being across town. But investigator Lin Wei introduced a radical element, an unscripted simulation of the hypothetical 6-minute dash. Luo Chen was forced to run the route. His initial arrogance evaporated as he was pushed to sprint up the emergency stairs. The elevator logs were too risky for the killer. He arrived back in the penthouse, sweating, panting, and 2 minutes behind schedule. The physical reality contradicted his calm testimony. Doubt, like a corrosive acid, began to eat at his composure. Then came the second, more chilling act, the silent struggle reenactment. Investigators theorized that the murder wasn't a chaotic fight, but a sudden, intimate betrayal. They asked a stunt double, standing in for Menglong, to assume the victim's final position. They then asked Luo Chen and Jia Li to approach the double as they would have, if they were the killer. Luo Chen, when asked to hold the imaginary weapon, gripped his hand with the force of a vice, but his movements were professional, clean, the movements of a man trained to fight, but not to betray a friend. Jia Li, however, was a revelation. When she moved toward the double, a wave of palpable, icy fury seemed to radiate from her. The investigating officer noted that she didn't just approach the body, she stalked it. And when she mimed the attack, her expression was not one of rage, but of cold, precise deliberation. It was an award-winning performance of pure malice. The reenactment seemed only to confirm both suspects' potential, yet the definitive physical evidence was still missing. That's when investigator Lin Wei shifted the focus from the suspect's actions to the unmoving objects in the room. This was the moment that truly shocked everyone present. Lin Wei pointed to the tiny, faint scratch on the wooden floor near the gramophone, the only sign of disturbance. This, she stated, is where the killer made their only mistake. She ordered a camera crew to set up a specific shot. A camera was placed on the floor, aimed directly at the scratch. Then, a powerful light was shone from the opposite end of the room, mimicking the direction of the setting sun that would have filtered through the windows that night. As the light hit the scratch, nothing seemed to happen. Then, Lin Wei produced a bottle of a specialized, non-toxic spectroscopic compound, a clear liquid used in forensic analysis. She carefully applied a single drop to the scratch. As the compound dried, the tiny mark, under the specific angle of light, didn't just become clearer, it refracted the light into a faint, microscopic rainbow. And within that rainbow, a pattern emerged, not a smear of blood or skin, but a faint, almost invisible crystalline residue. An on-site forensic technician gasped. It's a microparticle of lithium-ion battery casing. The type used in very specific, high-end commercial recording devices. This residue wasn't from Menglong's phone or laptop. It came from a hidden recording device, a micropin microphone that the killer had likely ripped out in a panic, leaving only this trace evidence of the casing. The scratch wasn't caused by a shoe or a struggle, it was the sharp, jagged edge of the hastily yanked device. The existence of a recording changed everything. The killer hadn't just murdered Yu Menglong, they had silenced a confession or a threat. But where was the device? Luo Chen and Jiao Li remained stone-faced, now sweating profusely under the intensity of the light and the revelation. Lin Wei walked to the fireplace, ignoring the suspects. The killer needed to dispose of the MIC quickly, but to burn it would be to create smoke and a smell that would alert neighbors. To flush it would risk a trace. She then walked to the gramophone, the one placed directly over the scratch. She played a record, a scratchy, beautiful piece of classical music. As the final note faded, she didn't lift the needle. Instead, she pushed the heavy gramophone 2 inches to the right. Underneath where the gramophone had been resting, there was no floor, but a barely perceptible circular seam. Lin Wei, using a small magnet, located a nearly invisible release switch and pressed it. With a soft, hydraulic hiss, the circular section of the floor rotated and dropped 6 inches, revealing a small, dark cylindrical shaft leading down into the building's infrastructure. A dead drop chamber, a secret compartment known only to Menglong and perhaps 1 or 2 close confidants. The victim had created it as a safe for sensitive documents, a literal plot device from one of his own spy movies. The forensic team, using a long retrieval arm, pulled a small, battered metal cylinder from the darkness of the chamber. It was the micro-recorder. The air in the penthouse was thick with a silence more terrifying than any scream. Investigator Lin Wei plugged the device into a secure playback unit. The audio began. It wasn't a struggle. It was a heated, terrifying conversation. Voice 1, Yu Menglong, you can't walk away from this, Luo Chen. You owe me. The film rights, the contract, the money, it's all linked to what I know about that accident 5 years ago. Voice 2, Luo Chen, voice tight with menace, you blackmail me? You were supposed to be my friend. That accident was tragic, not criminal. You have no proof. Voice 1, Menglong, oh, I have the proof, my friend. It's not about the money, Luo Chen. It's about her. Jiao Li. She told me everything. You framed her, made her take the fall for your reckless driving. She's been living with that guilt, covering for you. A beat of absolute silence on the recording. Then, a new, sharp voice cuts in, not Luo Chen's, not Menglong's. Voice 3, Jiao Li, the ethereal actress, now sounding like chipped ice, his right, Luo Chen. I have covered for you. For 5 years. I destroyed my own life and career for a ghost of a man. But I won't let him use it against you. I won't let him ruin your life, not after I've already ruined mine to save you." The room went cold. Everyone was looking at Jioli, the heartbroken, fragile beauty. It wasn't Luo Chen's rage that killed Yu Menglong. It was Jioli's twisted, possessive devotion to the man she covered for. She wasn't saving him from the police, she was saving him from blackmail and, in her twisted logic, saving herself from the final, unbearable truth being exposed. Luo Chen's eyes went wide not with guilt for the murder, but with absolute horror at the realization of the sacrifice she had just made for him, a man who didn't deserve it. He wasn't the killer. He was the motive. The reenactment had done its job. It had laid bare the entire scene, using physics and a secret hiding spot to unmask a killer whose motive was a love so toxic, so deeply woven with guilt and deceit, that it destroyed 3 lives in a single, silent, horrifying act. The city lights, once a romantic backdrop to Yu Menglong's life, now bled through the penthouse windows like forensic markers. The initial shock of the murder had passed, replaced by a suffocating, almost cinematic tension. The case wasn't just a crime, it was a psychological duel played out between the investigators and 2 of the country's most gifted actors. This is where the real performance began. When Chief Investigator Lin Wei first interviewed Luo Chen and Jioli separately, she wasn't looking for contradictions in their alibis, those had been meticulously engineered. She was looking for a slip in character. Luo Chen, the king of blockbusters, was initially interviewed in a stark, cold room. He projected the image of the stoic, betrayed friend. He sat rigidly, his massive hands clasped on the table, speaking in low, measured tones. Luo Chen, script dialogue Menglong was like a brother. We were discussing a project, a deeply personal one. The idea that someone could just enter his home, his sanctuary, and do this, it's monstrous. You need to find the real monster, investigator. Not distract yourselves with rumor and speculation about friends who are already in pain. He never wept. He never stumbled over a single detail of their rehearsal schedule. His performance was flawless, almost too flawless. Lin Wei noted that when he spoke of Menglong's death, his pupils didn't dilate. His grief was intellectual, not visceral. He was playing the role of the bereaved friend, but the script lacked a single genuine moment of raw shock. It was a performance designed to convince the camera, not the detective. Jioli, the queen of tragedy, was the antithesis. She was interviewed next, curled into herself on a plush chair, her fragile beauty now hauntingly pale. She didn't offer an alibi, she offered emotion. Jioli, script dialogue I can't stop seeing his smile. Just last week, he was teasing me about my bad habit of drinking tea cold. He was so full of life, investigator. Full of light. And now, the light is just gone. She sobbed silently, her body trembling. But Lin Wei noticed something critical about her tears. They were plentiful, streaming down her face, yet her voice remained steady. Her articulation was precise. A deep, psychological dive revealed that Jioli wasn't just grieving, she was hiding behind the grief. Her body language was pure, overwhelming sorrow, yet her words were sharp, calculated denials of any tension between the 3 of them. She was using her greatest asset, her ability to evoke profound emotion, as an impenetrable shield. Back at the penthouse, the crime scene itself was screaming a silent truth. The murder weapon was missing, presumed taken by the killer. But the investigators found a more subtle, terrifying signature. The victim, Yu Menglong, was a meticulous collector of bespoke mechanical watches. On the night of the murder, he had been wearing an extremely rare, personalized timepiece. When his body was moved, the investigators found the watch had not only been stopped but broken, the glass face shattered, the delicate gears destroyed. Forensic analysis revealed the watch hadn't been smashed in a struggle. It had been intentionally crushed after Menglong was incapacitated. The killer had removed it from his wrist and ground it under a heel with deliberate, almost symbolic force. Why destroy time? Why obliterate the evidence of the moment of death? Because this wasn't just a murder of opportunity. It was a murder of finality. The killer wasn't just taking his life, they were erasing the time Menglong had left, obliterating the very notion that he could have escaped or fought back. It spoke of a deeply personal fury, not a clinical, professional hit. The penthouse was sparse, yet Menglong had one eccentric collection: ancient, unused stage props from famous theatrical productions. One of these props was a custom-made, heavy, antique brass letter opener, meant to be purely decorative. It was kept on a mahogany desk near the entryway. During the initial sweep, the desk was noted. A detective commented on the intricate carvings on the stand where the letter opener usually sat. But by the second sweep, after the suspects had been allowed to view the body and briefly grieve at the scene, a standard, if controversial, procedure, a rookie officer noticed a change. The small, felt cushion underneath the brass stand was slightly creased, as if a heavy object had been lifted, then quickly replaced. The murder weapon was heavy, sharp, and disposable. But it wasn't brought in. It was already here. And the killer, being an actor who knew the scene, knew exactly where to find it. They used the antique brass letter opener, the prop on the mahogany desk. The realization hit the team like a physical blow. The missing murder weapon wasn't missing at all, it was a pre-existing object in the room, seamlessly integrated into the setting. The killer was so intimately familiar with Menglong's habits and possessions that they knew precisely what item to grab and, more chillingly, what item they could safely remove from the crime scene after the fact. This meant the murder was neither spontaneous nor entirely premeditated, but a chilling fusion, a sudden emotional eruption, executed with the terrifying efficiency and knowledge of a trusted intimate. The suspects, Luo Chen and Jiao Li, weren't just actors. They were, in the moments after the murder, directing their own perfect getaway scene. And the stage was Yu Menglong's own opulent, silent tomb. That's the first chilling act of this incredible, true crime-inspired story. We've seen the flawless performance of grief, the heartbreaking message in the broken watch, and the horrifying truth about the missing prop. Now, I need to know what you think. Who is the better liar? Luo Chen, with his ice-cold control, or Jiao Li, with her river of calculated tears? What was the real secret that Menglong was about to reveal that was so explosive it cost him his life? If you were investigator Lin Wei, what's the first thing you would have done when you realized the letter opener was the likely weapon? Drop your theories, your detailed psychological analysis, and your wildest guesses in the comments below. Let me know who you think is the true mastermind. If you were absolutely gripped by this story, if your mind is racing right now, you know what to do. Like this video, share it with a friend who loves a good mystery, and hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss part 2. The mind-blowing reenactment where we uncover the secret chamber and the final, shocking truth. Let's get the comments section buzzing.